A lawyer married a woman who had previously divorced 10 husbands. On their wedding night, she told her new husband, "Please be gentle. I'm still a virgin." "What?" said the puzzled groom. "How can that be if you've been married 10 times?" "Well, first husband was a sales representative. He kept telling me how great it was going to be. Second husband was in software services. He was never really sure how it was supposed to function, but he said he'd look into it and get back to me. Third husband was from field services. He said everything checked out diagnostically, but he just couldn't get the system up. Fourth husband was in telemarketing. Even though he knew he had the order, he didn't know when he would be able to deliver. Fifth husband was an engineer. He understood the basic process, but wanted 3 years to research, implement, and design a new state-of-the-art method. Sixth husband was from finance and administration. He thought he knew how, but he wasn't sure whether it was his job or not. Seventh husband was in marketing. Although he had a nice product, he was never sure how to position it. Eighth husband was a psychologist. All he ever did was talk about it. Ninth husband was a gynecologist. All he did was look at it. 10th husband was a stamp collector. All he ever did was, "God, I miss him. But now that I've married you, I'm really excited." "Good," said the new husband. "But why?" "You're a lawyer. This time I know I'm going to get screwed." A new guy in town walks into a bar and reads a sign that hangs over the bar. "Free beer. Free beer for the person who can pass the test." So the guy asks the bartender what the test is. Bartender replies, "Well, first, you have to drink that whole gallon of pepper tequila, the whole thing at once. And you can't make a face while doing it. Second, there's a gator out back with a sore tooth. You have to remove it with your bare hands. Third, there's a woman upstairs who's never had an orgasm. You got to make things right for her." The guy says, "Well, as much as I would love free beer, I won't do it. You have to be nuts to drink a gallon of pepper tequila and then get crazier from there." Well, as time goes on and the man drinks a few, he asks, "Where's that tequila?" He grabs the gallon of tequila with both hands and downs it with a big slurp and tears streaming down his face. Next, he staggers out back, and soon all the people inside hear the most frightening roaring and thumping, then silence. The man staggers back into the bar, his shirt ripped, and big scratches all over his body. "Now," he says, "where's that woman with the sore tooth?" It's a beautiful, warm spring morning, and a man and his wife are spending the day at the zoo. She's wearing a cute, loose-fitting, pink spring dress, sleeveless, with straps. He's wearing his normal jeans and a t-shirt. The zoo is not very busy this morning. As they walk through the ape exhibit, they pass in front of a very large, hairy gorilla. Noticing the girl, the gorilla goes ape. He jumps up on the bars, and holding on with one hand and 2 feet, he grunts and pounds his chest with his free hand. He is obviously excited at the pretty lady in the wavy dress, and the husband, noticing the excitement, thinks this is funny. He suggests that his wife tease the poor fellow some more. The husband suggests she pucker her lips, wiggle her bottom at him, and play along. She does, and Mr. Gorilla gets even more excited, making noises that would wake the dead. Then the husband suggests that she let one of her straps fall to show a little more skin. She does, and Mr. Gorilla is about to tear the bars down. Now try lifting your dress up your thighs and sort of fan it at him. This drives the gorilla absolutely crazy. And now he's doing flips. Then the husband nabs his wife by the hair, rips open the door to the cage, slings her in with the gorilla, and slams the cage door shut. "Now tell him you have a headache." Joe and John were identical twins. Joe owned an old dilapidated boat and kept pretty much to himself. One day he rented out his boat to a group of out-of-staters who ended up sinking it. He spent all day trying to salvage as much stuff as he could from the sunken vessel and was out of touch all that day and most of the evening. Unknown to him, his brother John's wife had died suddenly in his absence. When he got back on shore, he went into town to pick up a few things at the grocery store. A kind old woman there mistook him for John and said, "I'm so sorry for your loss. You must feel terrible." Joe, thinking she was talking about his boat, said, "Hell no. Fact is, I'm sort of glad to be rid of her. She was a rotten old thing from the beginning. Her bottom was all shriveled up and she smelled like old dead fish. She had a bad crack in the back and a pretty big hole in the front too. Every time I used her, her hole got bigger and she leaked like crazy. I guess what finally finished her off was when I rented her to those 4 guys looking for a good time. I warned them that she wasn't very good and that she smelled bad, but they wanted her anyway. The damn fools tried to get in her all at one time and she split right up the middle." Judy was bored with driving her Lamborghini. It lacked individuality, and besides that, every other girl in the office had one. She fancied something a bit more individual, perhaps a 911 convertible. That week, she visited her local car dealer and spied a beautiful Ferrari 308 GTS. It was wonderfully restored, and she fell in love with its gorgeous red paintwork. An empty check stub later, and off she was tearing down the leafy country lanes, enjoying her beautiful new car. Her long blonde hair was flowing in the wind, music blaring from the radio. What could possibly go wrong? At that thought, there was a splutter from the engine, and the car slowly coasted to a stop. She got out and lifted the bonnet and concluded after a few minutes that she didn't have a bloody clue what was wrong. Luckily, she had her mobile phone with her, and a quick phone call to the auto club, and a short wait saw a bright, shiny yellow van pull up behind her. "That's a lovely car," said the mechanic. "What seems to be the matter?" Judy replied, "Well, it just conked out, I'm afraid." "Let me have a look." He set to work, and 10 minutes later, the engine was purring like a cat again. "Thank goodness," she said. "What was the matter?" "Simple, really, just crap in the carburetor," he replied. Looking shocked, she asked, "Oh, how many times a week do I have to do that?" How to survive with women? You treat them like your car. Lift up the front and have a good hard look. Check the spare tire and any handles. Make sure the top can come down and look good in the summer. Are the bodywork and lines to your liking? Ensure it responds well when you are in the driving seat. Fit a child lock. Make sure any unusual noises can be safely ignored. Ensure sole ownership. If possible, test drive several times before committing to ownership. Make sure that there is a proper response when you put your foot down and that it is easy to control. Ensure that no joyrider can get their hands on it. See if the coil needs replacing. Watch out for any nasty emissions. Keep all leather accessories in order for your own safety. Never attempt to handle when drunk. Never let your friends have a go. German models tend to be solid, steady runners, not ideal for frequent brief usage. Italian models are very responsive, but change hands often, and often make worrying noises. American models tend to consume excessive amounts of fuel. British models, especially the attractive ones, are hard to find and expensive to maintain. Swedish models are usually versatile and safe. Japanese models are mass-produced and reliable, but very common and often unattractive. My friends, if you want to watch other funny jokes, subscribe to the channel.